We'll distribute. Hello, everyone. It's Love Infinity here with Brian.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, I know. What an extraordinary life you have, huh?
I mean, I guess it's fun, yeah.
At such a young age, you've accomplished so freaking much.
I don't know, I feel pretty old right now.
Oh my God, are you kidding? You're so young.
I just turned 55 last week.
No way. You are
No,
not 55.
that was
You
my
are
acting side.
Oh, you acted a person that was 55?
Yeah.
But
No,
you're not really 55.
I don't know, I'm confusing myself.
You look like you're 22.
I love it, I'll take it. That feels even better. Are you just trying to make me feel good? Just trying to start us off nice. Let me compliment
No way. No way. You can't be more than 22. How old are you for real?
When did
You
I
don't
turn?
you don't have
36.
Oh, okay. Well, you don't well, okay. Well, anyway.
I will take 22 though. I feel 22.
Yeah, maybe it's your hat that wearing it so cool,
Yeah.
chill, relaxing. So, where do we start? Okay, so tell the audience a little bit about yourself, a little background.
So, just to give a little bit about me, I guess you could start off in the beginning. I mean, I started off in music. Well, okay, let me back it up. So, originally, I started off in film, and this is where it comes around. So, I started off in film, and it was just as a kid, like just grabbing my dad's camera and just like talking to my brother. I'm like, yeah, let's, because I wanted to act, you know. So I was like, all right, what could we do? So I watched Rocky movies and Van Damme movies and these type of movies that I loved. And I was like, yeah, I want to recreate that. So we would grab the camera. And I remember sometimes, this is funny, I would, like, my dad would complain about me borrowing his camera. I was like, I'll do the dishes for a week for free. Just give me the camera. So that's my barter my way into a camera. And would get his camera, and we would just go outside and just start creating. And we didn't have any software like now you get the editing software and all that stuff. We didn't have anything like that. We had a camera, and we'd edit within the camera. We didn't do any type of script. We would put a couple ideas together, and we would start making stuff and creating, and that's how it kind of started. So we started off in the acting and filmmaking world, just dabbling, having fun. I think I was in my early teens at the time. And then I ran into the music business by accident when I went to a friend's house. They had a beat machine, and they were, making these beats, and we had a cassette tape, that he would record on.
Mhm.
And he would record everything there and play it back. And I'm like, yo, this is cool. I'm like,
Yeah.
I kind of like this. And after I was doing the acting thing a little bit and doing the filmmaking thing, I got into the music, and it just fit at the time. So I went full board into music, and it was a long 10-year dive of the entertainment industry, performing in clubs at like 17. Um, yeah, like going to, networking things, and, uh, being in this hip hop realm, because there was three of us in the group, three white boys. They called us like I guess a new age Beastie Boys, but I think we were more of like an NSYNC meets Beastie Boys.
I love that.
So,
That was really good.
yeah, and that's actually how I met or talked to Sean,
Huh.
was because I met Jim McMahon, a friend of his, in the music biz. But it was just a grind. The music biz, if anybody's been in the music biz, it is a grind, and it's at the time MySpace came out. So it was in this weird flux of building yourself up as an artist, creating your own destiny, and then somebody picking you up. And it was just in the beginning stages of some of that stuff, and that's kind of a little bit of the beginning of where we're at and where we got started, and kind of the background. What is your main focus here on your channel?
So the positive impact, and I am going to get to those questions.
Okay.
Just the positive impact and where you came from and the struggle. Well, not even the struggle, the challenges that you overcame to be what you are now. You are a Hollywood hack-in machine, or I definitely want to know the definition of that. You are a creator, you are a producer, you're a director, and when you were telling the story, Hollywood hacker, yeah. So I definitely want to know the definition of that and what
Okay.
that means. And from your childhood experience, it sounds so cool. What I picture is you guys being like Johnny Knoxville and like Daredevil. And nowadays, how popular would you guys be? If you had YouTube back in your day, holy wow, you would have probably been famous at 10 years old.
Well, it's weird. I remember, I don't know if anybody can remember this. There was this show on HBO called 30 by 30 Kid Flicks. And me and my brother actually entered it. We didn't ever got on. We tried to enter that. So we had that little realm of kids just creating. And just to touch on YouTube, so we were on YouTube actually pretty early in the music business. It was weird. So the documentation stuff, and this is why film, I feel, has always been in our life and just kind of attached to what we did, is because we actually documented some of this stuff and we lost.
Oh no. Oh no. No.
You there?
Technical.
I think I lost
Yes,
you.
I'm
You
here.
there?
Yeah, just repeat what you said. You said
Okay,
you
so we
documented.
lost a lot of the footage. So we created a lot of this stuff, and it was early in the YouTube, and it was early in the because I think it was 04 is when we got signed to a deal in Baltimore, $1 million deal. We thought we made it. Like they picked us up in a limo. They flew us out. Like it was like our big break. Like we were like, yo, we made it. We thought we opened up an LLC, and we were like, yo, we got to get our business right. So because we were going to get checks, and it was a signing bonus and all that stuff. I think we reached getting like $20,000 signing bonus. And we were jacked. Like we were like, yo, we made it. So we flew out there, signed all the contracts, all the paperwork. 2 weeks later, we get the checks in the mail, deposit bounced.
Oh my God.
This weird cycle of all these checks bouncing, emails going back and forth, their deal, everything fell through. And it was around 04 when I think YouTube kind of just started.
Yeah.
Just to touch on the documentation, we documented ourselves going to Baltimore. Like we had a camera, and my buddy, this is a funny story. So my buddy's dad went with us. Super cool dude, Bill. He was like a mentor of ours because he was in the music business for like 40, 50 years. He ended up quitting when he was like, no, I'm sorry, 30 years. He quit when he was like in 40 or 50s. I think he quit. But he got to play with bands and stuff like that. And he locked himself in the bathroom. So Johnny Knoxville thing, he was locked in the bathroom and we couldn't get him out. It was like, I don't know, so we had to kind of like ring it and like rip the door open. But we were documenting back then and we put it online and stuff. So like, it was weird. I think we always kind of had a vision for the future in a way of like seeing an opportunity or a platform and going, oh yeah, we just throw it on here, and that's kind of what the hack in Hollywood is. The biggest thing is in what we found, and we did bad at this in the beginning of music, is networking. Your key to any industry or anything in life, in my opinion, is through your network. Is period. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It's not about the money. It's more about the people in your network, and that's your net worth, in my opinion. And that's what the hack in Hollywood is. It's find your way of hacking into the Hollywood system, and that's kind of what we've done by backdooring it, because it's almost like a club, and you got this line outside the club, and you just like, I don't want to wait in this line of like 80 people, but they want to make it look good. They want to put the fancy on and make it look like it's a packed club, even though there's room inside for everybody. They just want to make the illusion, the smoke and mirrors of Hollywood, to make it look good. So it's like, no, I'm going to try to backdoor this thing, and that's kind of what hacking Hollywood is. Figuring out a way to backdoor the industry through connections and relationships, rather than waiting for somebody to give you permission. And it's because if you wait for permission, you should be waiting a long time. I
Yeah.
feel, you know.
I love that. I love that. That's brilliant. And you got to make your way, especially if you're passionate about it, and don't let the naysayers and all that stuff. That's like red tape. Screw that. We're hacking it in. I like that. So,
I think from a maverick approach, you know, a maverick approach to things, I think is I mean, I don't know, it's important. I mean, I don't know, that's just kind of how I am, you know.
that's a great tip. That's because that's a question that I have, and that's a great tip. Find a way to hack your way in a good way. It's not, hacking doesn't mean bad. It's just,
Yeah.
you know, you're getting around the red tape per se.
With anything, you know.
Yeah. So yeah, like biohacking is one of my favorite things, and that means just doing alternative health and eating superfoods and making your chemistry and your health better. So, so who or what positively impacted your life, and why and how?
Positively impact. I would say a lot of the negative stuff positively impacted me growing up, just because I was around a lot of things that were, I guess people say it's not normal, but for me it was normal, you know, being around like people smoking weed and like drugs and alcohol and that there was you know, parties and things like this. So there's a lot of that type of atmosphere going on growing up. And you know, things with the law and things with like court and just stuff like that that said I don't really want to be in that. So it kept me away from that. And I remember even as a kid, you know, my friends would be smoking or something, and they would like trying to hide the smoke, and I'm like, no, my dad said to smoke with him. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't want to. Like, no, you guys do that. Like, because it wasn't like a stigma on it. It was just like whatever. So that type of stuff was a negative, but to me was a positive because it was my journey, and it taught me where not to be. Like even health, like seeing my dad, I remember him doing pull-ups in the garage and like working out and, you know, running. And even though he had, you know, bad things that he did, there was still some positive things that you could take from the people in your life. Anybody, like, so that I think it's anything you see, the videos out there of learning and self-help and all that, you don't have to take everything, right? Because some things may not work or pertain to you, but you can take the things that you feel fit. And that's kind of what has always been my mentality. So hopefully that answered your question. I think it might have impact. Yes, my father, my upbringing, and actually movies like Rocky and movies like in the background here, you know, Braveheart. They gave me role models like those, even though they were movie, like a lot of people look up to like these comic book heroes, but to me, like there's too much not fakeness, but there's too much of a gap for me to relate to that because like I can't fly. But Rocky closes the gap where it's like, yo, like I can box or I can train or I can dedicate myself to something to make myself stronger physically, which makes you stronger mentally, which makes you be able to handle struggles and things that kind of come up, you know? So hopefully does that make sense?
Yes. And I love that answer. And well, I mean, I've never heard someone actually say that the things that were not the best influence on them was the most positive impact. So I really, really love your answer. And one of the things that I've been working on in my life, especially more recently, is being grateful for everything. Everything is what it is. It's not positive or negative or right or wrong. It is what it is. Just like, you know, people would challenge me when I started the magazine years ago, and this is a relaunch of Positive Impact. And they would say, well, what about that guy that blew up something or that? Yes, horrific things happen for us to learn from them. And when you learn from them, there's a blessing in it. And if we don't learn from them, they're going to keep happening in different kind of thing. So I love what you
Can I
said
touch on
because
something with that?
yes, of course.
Can I touch on a story with that? Because that makes so much sense. Because I was working in Baton Rouge on a movie, and I'm gonna tie it in. I'm working on the movie with these guys, big actors, um, and really cool dudes. And we were at a boat camp, a row camp, and I remember being in the car because I was just a PA. I was hacking Hollywood. If you don't like, I was at a PA, but you don't put yourself as a PA. You're a producer on it, so you're hacking Hollywood. So I'm in there as a PA, and I'm driving them to set, or no, away from set. They just got rid of one of the actors, just randomly, and the guys were all like, "Oh crap! Like they're gonna get rid of me." And they kept, I could hear them kind of talking about that. I just spoke up. I said, "Guys, can I say something?" Like, I said, "If you guys don't mind." And I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, "You guys know as well as I do, if we can't control it, why think about it?" So like, or why let it impact you? Because it does. It'll hit us sometimes. You know, things we can't control. We're like, I'm trying to control it. It's like we can't control it. So let's not let it impact. And it kind of made sense. I remember one of the guys, and they're like, "Whoa, like who is this guy? He's a PA. Why is he talking to me like that?"
Well, you just gave me the God bumps because I feel like that lesson, that message, that has been coming into my life a lot lately because there's things that have come up that's not, some things are not as easy to not take it personal, and it's not personal, and it's out there, and you can't control what other people think about you, or that really you have to go inward. And if you do take it personally, in my opinion, in my experience, there may be something to look at, but also then there comes that looping that you might get addicted to suffering and being a victim, which we all have played those roles, like the victimhood and like suffering, and there's no reason for it. It's just, I love what you said. So thank you for that. That's really great.
I mean, just to touch on that, I mean, I'm not an expert in it, but I've studied self-help and I've studied bettering myself. And just recently, in the last year or two, I really learned to detach from things like ego and um, not being able to control the outcome. And I went through a divorce about 2 years ago, and that really helped with that as well. So it's like we can only control the things that we do as a person. We can't control what somebody else does. And to even loop on it, like you said, to get in that negative loop, it's taken up so much mental capital that it'll make you so tired. I've been there. Like if you're so tired thinking about this loop for friggin' a day or two, when you could be on to the next progression or hitting the weights or something you love to do, like what you're doing with the podcast, and it seems like you really enjoy doing this. So it's like other things could be getting done rather than looping on something you can't control.
Yeah. And unfortunately, what happens with these loops and these things is that all of our cells have memory in our brain. And it's not your soul that is addicted to this or looping. It's the memory in your cells that you have to really stop and say, listen, I release the need for this, whatever it is, like the depression or suffering, or I release the need for this. And I ask God or the creator or whatever you believe in to transmute it into love or kindness or whatever you are looking for. And that stops get that memory out of those cells that have that addiction, sort of, not addiction, because the cells have memory. And when you keep looping, then you keep wanting to go there. It's not your soul that wants that. Your soul knows that your love and power and infinite resource and amazing. So yeah.
Well, I mean,
So
they say, I don't know if you ever read books, but they say, and don't quote me on some of this stuff, but so you got like chemicals like dopamine,
yeah.
oxytocin, and these certain chemicals that react with the brain that become an addictive drug. So if you're in a toxic relationship or a toxic environment, you get accustomed to that and addicted to that, whether it's dopamine because or oxytocin, like when you're in love, it's just a chemical, in the body that you're feeling, and that's why it only lasts usually a year. So after that year, the honeymoon phase, you get into, you have to be more of a, I appreciate the person's company, like I enjoy their company, and that's a more of a truer love. Where in the beginning, it's more of a lusty love of chemical
Well,
cocktail
yeah.
type stuff.
Well, and yeah, and to your point, and that's why some of us keep attracting the same kind of relationship. That's why we keep doing, because it's like the memories of ourselves and our mind that just are, and it's a habit, it's a belief, it's a pattern that you got to break. Or, you know, if you don't got to break it either. If you enjoy whatever it is, it's not necessarily, I'm just using an example of things that don't serve us and that are not for our higher good and for the greater good. On the note of, so your father, what? I'm sorry.
Very self-aware. I think that's important.
Yeah, being mindful, catching yourself when you go down those roads. So you're a father of 4 beautiful daughters, huh?
I am.
Tell me about that. Tell us about that.
My daughters, well, I got 4 daughters. I got Juliana, Liliana, Brianna, because I knew after, my name's Brian, I knew after Brianna, I'm like, boys aren't in my DNA. So I'm gonna name this one after me. So Brianna's after me, and then Brianna's the youngest. So I got 12, 11, 7, and 3, and I get them on the weekends, and we have a blast. We go downtown, Dunedin, and get some ice cream, and they like to go to the crystal shop where you get the little crystal stuff like this. My oldest is really into spirituality and stuff. So it was so funny. So we were hanging out, and my sister was over with her friend, and we're hanging out. And my oldest was giving her friend a reading. Like, she wrote it. I'm like, yo, she's really good at this. Like, she was legitimately talking to her like a psychic. I'm like, yo, wow. This is kind of cool. Those are my girls. So that's my oldest down to my youngest. They're all, they're crazy.
Indigo children. And I love their names. They're beautiful. And men who have daughters. Men who have, sorry, go ahead.
No, I said their mother, it was their mother idea with the honest. It was cool. It stuck.
I love it. It's so unique. They're beautiful. Are they all close too? They're good.
They are. Yeah, for the most part. I mean, they're close, but they fight. So I guess that makes them close.
Yeah, that makes them closer, probably.
Yeah.
So do you have any fatherly tips out there for the people listening? Parenting tips?
Fatherly tips. It's hard, man, because it's like you grow so much and you hope you do a good job. So, like, I think looking back as a son, my father was very transparent for the most part with me. Good or bad, I seen a lot of weird stuff because of it, but it made me who I am, and I feel like made me the person I am, or a better person. So I think transparency with your kids, not trying to trick them and lying to them into stuff like, yo, they're kids, they're not stupid, they're smart. Especially intuitive kids, especially the ones that are very intuitive and can feel energy in a way of they can understand what's going on. And I think that's how I was as a kid. And I think that's what makes really good actors as well, being intuitive like that, being able to feel energy in certain ways. But as a father, I would say is being transparent as you can with them, being able to talk to them, do your best, take them out. I think giving them time rather than money is one of the things I try to do. A lot of parents try to buy their kids things. And I think taking them out for ice cream and playing I Spy with them for 5 or 10 minutes is something that'll stick with them when they're 30, rather than, oh my God, this thing,
Yeah, I know. That's great advice. Thank you for sharing that. So what does the term positive impact mean to you?
Positive impact. Hmm. Positive impact to me, I think, is what are you going to leave behind that will cause change in a way to help others grow and others uh, maybe get a glimpse of something that sparks them and goes, oh, I didn't know that. So yeah, I would say leaving behind something, video content like this, I think is a positive impact. It could be a negative impact as well, but I think any negativity as well can lead to positive, like we talked about earlier. So, yeah, videos like this, little nuggets of knowledge, because we all have it. We all have expertise in certain areas. Um, and yeah, leaving something behind and creating something for other people to follow or have a roadmap that helps guide them from where they're at out of that, if that makes sense.
Yes, I love it. So what movie are you working on right now? Are you working on a movie currently?
Right now we're in post production on our newest movie, Mind Games.
Mind Games. Ooh, that
We've
sounds
got a couple
great.
offers on it. Yeah, it's a cool movie. My brother directed it, Jake. We worked with another filmmaker as well, Jaden Fitzpatrick, super talented kid. Um, and we got that movie right now in post production. It's fully completed. We just had a premiere for it, which was really cool and fun. We had all the people out there. We had the lead actress flew in, and the movie star Michael Pare and Robert Lazardo. And it should be released next year sometime. And that's the next one on the slate as far as release wise. So once we get that one done, we'll probably have a couple more that we'll be pushing out there. I've been auditioning and stuff like that for stuff, and then on top of that, of course, the other projects in the past that we've done, you know.
Maybe I could make a cameo in one of your movies as somebody in the background,
You're we're,
like a bartender
we're
or waitress in the background.
I love
That
that.
would
Where are you
be.
out of?
I'll be an extra or something. That would be fun. I'm in Clearwater. I'm on Clearwater Beach, but you know,
You really?
yeah.
I didn't know
So
that.
I'm,
It just came over. I live in Dunedin.
yeah. I used to live in Dunedin.
Yeah.
So what would be your dream movie for you to? Are you writing anything now, and like what? Because I know you're going to do it someday. Like, what is your perfect movie? Is it an action? Is it a romance comedy? Is it drama? Like, are you writing something and creating it? Are you like what would be your ideal like dream? I know you've done a lot of great things already. Do you have anything that you
My
haven't
ideal
done
movie.
that you're looking?
There's one movie that I'd like to make. Well, I can't say that because like each movie you
Every one of them.
create, like you're like special place. But I do have a movie that I love that's hanging on my wall called Bloodsport, and I tried to do a sequel to it or a revamp to it, and couldn't get anywhere with the person that owns the rights. So I have an idea of a spin-off that I can kind of do without the rights. So that would be definitely key. But I'll be honest with you, like I just like creating projects.
Hmm.
So taking another person's project who I feel passion for in a way of like I respect it, and the movie is good, and I like the idea of the movie at that time, then that movie. But I love movies that inspire. So a more inspirational movie than ones I've done would definitely be on my list, and that's kind of where I'm going in the next, I would say, 4 years. More inspirational stuff, and then continue with content like this, positive content to help other filmmakers. Like writing a book and doing the videos and possibly creating a course. I got a couple things I'm working on, but it's sometimes things are on the burner until they're ready, and that's kind of how I am with right now.
Yeah, that's great. That's wonderful.
What about you?
So
What are you up to?
positive impact, life, and co-creating even more and more. We have a book launch coming up. We have more podcasts and online classes and courses and workshops that we're getting ready to do. They're coming soon, everyone. Keep your eyes peeled. And we have the 10 days of Christmas coming up. So 10 days of declarations and podcasts and classes that we're going to do up until, I think, New Year's Day or Christmas Day. I'm talking to my business partner today. So keep your eyes peeled, everyone. So I shared all your links in the bio and stuff. If somebody wants, okay, so one last question to end tonight. Knowing what you know now, what would you tell your younger self? Some advice or something that you wish you would have known when you were younger.
Go for it.
You did go for it, though.
I know, but it's so weird because you go for it in increments, right? So if I could tell my younger self, it would have been go for it like fully, because what happens is you only have so much confidence at certain points. And at this point, it's just like, whatever. But when you're younger,
yeah,
let some of that stuff stop you because you're not fully congruent with your confidence yet, or you're not fully believing in yourself. You believe in yourself, but there's always this shadow of a doubt that kind of cast over you and say, I can't do that because of programming and stuff when we're younger that gets inputted in us, that it's not our parents' fault, but we grew up with it. So you have that little voice that goes, you can't do that. It's your dad talking to you or your mom. So I would just say go for it fully, right?
fully.
It's in a Rocky movie too.
I like it.
Like the Rocky movie inspired me, so like go for it. Like Rocky. I think it's Rocky 5. People trash on Rocky 5. I love it. Tommy Gunn, you and me is like this.
I love it. I like it. I like it better than do it. Go for it. Do it is the Nike thing. I like go for it full on, fully. I really love it. I'm actually going to write that on my mirror tonight so that I wake up and look at it every day. And I might write it here on my window. Go for it.
Watch Rocky 5 too.
Yeah, I will. I think I've seen all the Rockies. Is that the one that has is that the one with Ice-T's son, or who's in that one? That was 4.
I'm going to give you a Rocky lesson. Rocky 1 is the original with Apollo. Rocky 2 is where he beats Apollo. Rocky 3 is where he fights Mr. T. And then what's his name makes an appearance? Hulk Hogan. Rocky 4 is with the Russian. Rocky 5 is where Tommy Gunn, which is an actual boxer dying from AIDS. I think Tommy Morgan or something, that was his name, or Tommy something is a boxer. Then you got Rocky Balboa, or no, it's Balboa. And then what's the next? I think that's it. No, and then you got the Creeds. I love the
Creed. I saw that one. Who's in that one? That's the one I think I recently, the last one I saw.
Yeah, Michael B. Jordan. He was in Creed 2, Creed 1A, Creed. I love those two. Those are really good. Perfect continuation of the franchise, I feel. Yeah,
the Rocky movies make me want to get up and go for it.
Yeah, that's how I did when I was a kid. Fight.
Run until you fall over. Anyway, thank you for being on the show. I would love to have you on again. And wait, one more thing before we leave. Just share with everyone how they can find you and get in touch with you if they want to be a part of what you're doing. I have it in the description of you, but yeah, just go ahead and share.
Yeah, Facebook, they can find me, Brian Jalbert, Jalbert, Jalbert. They can find me on Instagram, Brian Jalbert on Instagram. You'll kind of know from the white shirt and hair, minus it all. If you want to email me directly, You can find me on IMDb, Brian Jalbert. It's Brian Jalbert jr@gmail.com. And yeah, love to start a dialogue. So reach out and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being here. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas next week. Enjoy those little girls, your daughters, and just family and friends.
Thanks
Thank
for having me.
you. Thank you so much.
You have a good one.
Thanks, all of our listeners.